Good afternoon, and welcome back to SPNN Forum. I am your host, Jiccarra N. Hollman, and today I am here with Citizen Father. Welcome back to SPNN Forum. I am excited to introduce two gentlemen, two fathers that came through Father Project and graduated to Citizen Father, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, I have Joseph Battles and Damien Winfield, but he likes to be called Damien. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yes. First, please tell me about the Father Project.
Father Project is an organization that helps empower fathers to be leaders, role models. They do stuff with jobs, training, to be an impact, positive impact to our children and our community.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Yes, what I hear you saying is that it gives you resources and vocational skills so that you could get a high-paying job to take care of your children and your families.
That's correct.
Yes, I heard examples, I heard training, I heard skills, I heard leadership.
You also heard options.
And options. Okay.
Because that's one of the main deals. So you're not just focused on one thing. If that's not your thing, we have other things that you might fit in that you will probably enjoy and stick with.
I like options. Tell me
Yeah.
more about the options.
Well, the options are to be in your child's life or not to be.
Ooh, I would like that option.
And that's one of the options that we fall into right away. A lot of people think we don't love our children, but that's a misconception.
Ooh.
It's just sometimes we just don't have the right tools to keep us in the range. I would say that the range of our children. It pulls us further away if we don't have options.
Ooh, okay. We're getting deep already. And so my understanding, though, is that both of you gentlemen are here is because you choose the option to work towards being active members in your children's, I said in your fathers, being active fathers in your children's lives.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And so from the Father Project came Citizen Father?
Yes.
How did that happen or come about?
Jim?
Well, the Father Project had several different programs and groups that you could learn from parenting to leadership to empowerment to training for jobs. A lot of fathers don't believe that they're good enough to be in their child's lives. And changing that perception of what we've learned previously growing up to how we can impact positively to this current future, working on our current situation, to inspire our children, to be role models for our children, to be leaders in the community and impact positively everywhere.
So let me ask you this. How does Citizen Father differentiate from Father Project?
The Father Project is a place where we started.
Okay.
The Father Project is the place that kind of got our attention, in a sense. Mine started with child support.
Okay.
And that's how I learned who the Father Project was.
Oh.
I wasn't paying child support, unfortunately. I was a young dad, and I found myself just living
Yes.
and thinking things were just going to fall in place. So I'm driving around the city with my car, and child support slowed me down.
Okay.
The police pulled me over, took my driver's license, and said, "You have to answer to child support." And that's how I ended up finding the Father Project, because child support said if you wanted to be in your child's life, you're going to have to pay. You need a job. And they gave me 3 options. The second option was the Father Project.
Okay.
But that was the first option I called.
Wow. That's amazing. So I hear you saying how you got involved with the Father Project or how you came to be
Yes.
where you are today. And how did you come into the Father Project?
I was going through a pretty harsh divorce.
Okay.
And I was looking to establish not just a divorce, but custody of my children, so I could be a impact on them, to have it be a positive role model. I actually didn't hear through any conventional means for the Father Project. I actually had a fellow citizen, or fellow father from the Father Project actually
Okay.
pick me up and bring me to a parenting group,
Oh, wow.
which was full of support and healthy expressions, and definitely changed the way I looked at being a father differently than when I was taught growing up.
That's a good friend. That
Yes.
is a good friend.
Still my best friend to this day.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. You looked at. You looked.
We're still friends.
You looked to
though.
your left. I thought this was your bud.
Oh, he's definitely my bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing that Father Project gives you is friends,
Yes.
real friends that you can count on.
Yes.
And not only is he a friend, he's a dad that I can trust to watch over my children.
Okay.
So we build a camaraderie between each other. And I never met Joe until we went to the Father Project.
Beautiful. What I hear you saying is that you have peers and you have accountability partners.
Exactly.
Accountability, especially, because when I see myself talking to Damien or in one of our citizen father groups, I can count on them to tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear.
Exactly.
Ooh,
Exactly.
okay. That's amazing.
That's a huge skill for a
Yeah.
father to learn.
Yeah, because, for the most part, men like to agree with each other when it comes to football, basketball, different things like that. But when it comes to being a father, you can't agree just to make him feel good.
We challenge each other.
Right. Ooh, come on, challenges. Yes. So that means that even when he's wrong, he's like, I'm paying the child support,
Yeah.
so why do I need to show up? You're like, because it takes more than financial
That's right.
support, right?
That's
Yes.
You need to have physical support, right?
You
Is
need to
that
be-
emotional support?
That's right.
You need to be active. So you guys like have those conversations?
Yes.
Always. We
Is
get
it
deep.
tough?
It was tough in the beginning.
There's tears
Okay.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was tough in the beginning because a lot of us are hard-headed. As men, we get super hard-headed, stuck in our ways, and we think we know. So when somebody comes up and tell you you're doing something wrong or you can do something differently,
Yes.
it makes it a little hard to shift that way
Uh-huh.
when you're so stuck in your way. But then once you do shift, you break that piece of whatever that's holding you start to feel better, and it makes it easier to bend.
Okay. Speaking of bending,
Mm-hmm.
so I understand that you both are fathers
Yes.
Correct.
in your own right.
Correct.
Yes.
Now, can you please tell me what are some barriers? Because I always wonder this as a woman. What are some barriers that fathers have for showing up, being active, or just present and there for their children?
I would say because there's no book on manhood,
Uh-huh.
fatherhood,
Uh-huh.
it makes it difficult when you don't have a role model in your neighborhood or in your family or anywhere in your group to give you that perspective of what a real father is.
Got it. Okay.
So, unlike some of the men in my life, my grandfathers were amazing.
Okay.
My dad just didn't have those skills though. And it wasn't a father project around for my dad. So my dad kind of went to the left a little bit. May he
Yeah.
rest in peace, but yeah, if my dad only had the father project, I'd probably be in a different situation today.
So I hear you saying cycles,
Oh yeah, big time. Cycle.
role models.
For me, my father, I didn't know my grandfathers very well, but my father was a hard worker, and I watched him, work all day, and I'd get an hour or two with him a day after school, and that would be where he would be telling me to clean my room and do my homework, and didn't have time to work and show me that compassion and that love at the same time.
Yeah.
So I got a great work ethic from my father and how to be tough, but I didn't get that compassion, love your children, coach your children, show them life, not just, chores or homework or so forth. Now, with me, I love coaching, even though I never played a sport as a child. didn't know if I could work with other kids if I was struggling to be a father of my own. And the Father Project not only empowered me as a father, empowered me as a mentor and leader to be able to, work with not just my kids, but other kids and inspire them for greatness.
Okay. So when I asked about barriers, I heard you say role models, not having examples within your home or in your community that showed you what a father looks like.
Correct.
I heard you say there could be a father in the home, but he might still not be present, and maybe the only time you're interacting with each other is when they're like barking orders at you or at the child. So now what I want to know is, what are some action steps that you are using or taking to break those barriers?
Mine's first, patience.
Patience.
I've learned a lot of patience. I understood that a lot of my anger growing up, because I was an angry young dad, not just a young dad. I had a lot of anger, didn't know why. The Father Project helped me realize I was missing my dad.
Oh,
And if I started realizing that, it started making more sense to me. My anger was I couldn't express the fact that I miss you, Dad, because he was dead. And those kind of things kind of put a positive in me to want to be around my kids as much as possible.
Okay. What about you?
For me, it was, I watched my father struggle a lot. Not accepting mental help for mental health is something as men we've never been able to, been taught as a child. My father wasn't taught it, I wasn't taught it. And opening up and realizing that you need help and you need to talk to other positive role models would have been beneficial if my dad had something like the Father Project growing up. Because it wasn't that he was barking orders, it was the fact that he was trying to, teach us what we need to get done. But at some point in time, I believe it would have helped him to have other supportive people to say, hey, let's do a camping trip. Something similar to, sometimes Boy Scouts, where you meet other fathers that want to give back.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no problem.
That's okay.
So mental health is something that is big for us, and now it's just becoming more popular that men can seek help. I never thought I could be, I don't want to say weak or emotional in front of my children, but it took me a long time to realize I could let them see me cry and be human.
It's the vulnerability, right?
Yep. So they knew that they were just like us.
So how do you get the help that you need?
For me, it was one of my childhood best friends that brought me to a parenting group, and I thought it would be a parenting group like, this is how you be a parent. This is what you need to do. And it was more like, how do you feel, and what do you want, and how to rebuild yourself from some of the misconceptions that you were taught as a child, to taking the tools to build a healthy father, that kids feel safe asking questions and being vulnerable. And it was another father from the Father Project that reached out. We would talk all the time, but it took the supportive group environment to be accountable for what we say, not just from one person to the other, but in a group we could speak freely and know that there was support, compassion, and love in our groups.
That's amazing.
We treated our groups like Vegas.
Oh, what?
What goes on here stays here.
We're going to talk about more of that next. Welcome back to SPNN Forum. If you are just tuning in, I am talking to two fathers of Citizen Father. They are graduates of the Father Project, and it's really great, useful information about barriers, about obstacles, as well as action steps to be active fathers in our children's lives. All right, so now I understand that you have your own barriers, but then you have to navigate the barriers of your children, because when you're out of their lives for so long, then it becomes you know,
Yeah.
their own mindset and understanding of what the reason might be. So how do you show up in that way and help navigate your absence while trying to work on your presence in their life?
One day at a time.
Ooh, okay, gotcha.
One day at a time. You have to remember that your child has feelings, right?
Yes.
And you've been gone for some time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be some emotions there, right? Be it anger, be it overjoyed.
Yeah.
They still need to be dealt with carefully. And you really got to really understand what you've done to your child first before you try to fix what you broke.
Right.
And if you can realize that you made a mistake, you have to apologize to your child sincerely and take it slow and bring yourself back. But you have to let your child want to bring you in. They're the ones that's reeling, right? So if they let that line go, that means they're not ready yet.
Okay.
So they kind of shake the line and they'll will you in. Before you know it, you'll be embracing them on an everyday schedule, and it turns normal. But you have to take it slow. It's not a fast process. We go back to that Will Smith show that we watched, when he was Fresh Prince Bel-Air, and his dad came back in. Will didn't want him to leave.
Yes.
Mr. Phil, his uncle, knew what his dad was up to.
Right.
And you have to really you got to have those gatekeepers. Those gatekeepers are not always bad people. Sometimes they're there to protect the child, for the most part, from the parent, unfortunately. So take it slow and just take in consideration your child's feelings and just know that you did something wrong, that the child didn't do anything wrong.
Yes, that's beautiful. And that was a real moment
Yes, it
because you're
was.
taking us back to, as you said, in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he wanted his dad, and Mr. Phil knew better. And then when his dad showed him who he truly is, his true colors, Will was left broken.
Yeah.
And Mr. Phil, who, let's talk about this, kind of stepped in the place of a stepfather in a sense, right, was there to pick up the pieces.
That's right.
So how is it being also like stepfathers for children that you didn't bear?
I am a stepfather.
Okay.
And Alonzo is 35 years old. I used to be his babysitter.
Oh,
And he came into my life when he was only 2 months
okay.
old. And when Alonzo turned 7 years old, he started just calling me dad
Okay.
on his own. And from now to this day, he knows who his real father is, but he calls me dad, and it just warms me up every time. He doesn't have to do that. He's an adult male, but he calls me dad.
Wow.
And it's a beautiful thing. It just lets me know I did the right thing,
Yes. Thank you. I didn't forget about you, Joseph. I want to go back to how.
I'm also a stepfather.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Joseph's stepdad.
I don't use the step term very often because our kids are our kids. That's
You're
how
a
I believe
father.
it. Yes,
Period.
I'm a father. They actually call me the father, the dad,
father.
the dad. They call me the dad.
The dad.
Because they know I'm the one that's there for them. I'm the one that's making sure they go to school. I'm the
Yes.
one. I felt strong enough from citizen fathers actually made me stronger to where I have a blended family.
Yeah.
My wife has 4, I have 4, and we have 1 together.
Woo!
Yeah.
Big family.
Yep. Definitely big family. And it's not easy because you end up, taking a lot of the anger that they have for the father that chooses to
That's right.
leave.
That's right, baby.
And I just remind them that I'm the father that chooses to stay. I've always had my kids.
Yeah.
And my problem was, I'd burn out. I had my kids all the time, working and then going to their school functions and making sure they played soccer to the point where I coached soccer. There's a few times I actually came from work, like doing stuff for advocacy for fathers, court stuff, and I've actually coached soccer in my 3-piece suit and dress shoes.
Wow.
And it was moments that I look back on like, wow, God, it was 90 degrees. What was I doing out there in a suit on the field in the sun? But my kids realized that I would do anything
Yes.
to help support them and love them.
Yes. I feel like we're just getting so far in the weeds, but I always want to know just like how do you rewrite that narrative when a child has come to learn that like you don't love them because you wasn't there for them. Maybe that's the messages that they got in the home, maybe there was other reasons that kept you away, but all the child knows is that you're absent.
It's probably one of our things at the Father Project,
Yes.
to not let you get too far away
Okay,
that
good.
that you're afraid to pull back in.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And even if you have, we figure out ways to help you. Maybe we'll start with writing a letter to the child.
Oh, okay.
So there's simple ways. Do it with a crayon. If the child is that young, start with a letter, right? And then you start with a phone call after that. Just say hi, good night. Be simple. Don't keep the child too long. Make it simple, make it brief, and then keep reaching out a little more. And as it goes, it turns into a normal day, normal conversation. Before you know it, you got them spending the night with you. You're going places. And I'm gonna be honest, a Saturday morning breakfast with the kids and cartoons is the best thing ever.
Okay.
I have no clue why my dad didn't want that. So that makes me feel some kind of way when I'm doing it with my kids and don't know why my dad didn't want to do it with me.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Share what they love, and then they open up to you more.
Yeah.
To speak on that question, there was a father in one of our father groups. He was a military guy. He was gone for 3 years overseas.
Yeah.
He came back, and his son didn't want anything to do with him.
Yeah.
He came to our groups for 10 straight weeks, and he kept saying, I just don't know how I can
get back in.
Yeah, how can I get back in? How can I get my child to realize I was out defending my country,
Yeah.
not purposely trying to be away from him. And the only communication he had was his child's email. He had his 10-year-old's email. So for the whole 10 weeks of the group, he was writing his child emails 3 times a week, and then they were being not responded to. Well, one day his son clicked on it and read the dozens of emails that his father had wrote to him, pouring his heart out. He came into group one day and just tears saying, he finally called me.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so it's really hard to answer that question because
It is.
Just trying to help a father be strong and not give up. We always tell other fathers that presence is the most important. Just be there and be available. And kids will eventually open up, because even though sometimes we felt like we didn't have that father-ish relationship, we're smart enough as men now to know that everybody needs a healthy father in their life.
Amazing. Now, I understand that Citizen Father has messages. So, and these messages are something that you share with other fathers.
Yes.
Yes.
What are some of your messages?
Well, we got one here. I'll start with the first one.
I was going to say the first one, I kind of just said,
It's
children need fathers.
Children's need
Children
fathers.
need fathers. Children need fathers.
Simple science. And fathers are important
Okay.
in the child's life. It's part of one of our punchlines on that, because sometimes we get forgotten. After not being there so long,
Right.
somebody realizes, hey, you didn't come here by yourself. You did not get on this earth by yourself. Even though you don't see him, he's out there somewhere, right? Well, if you can't have him, Joe might be available. I might be available. There should be a role model somewhere in that
Okay.
neighborhood to help with that child, because it does take a village. So
Absolutely,
it takes a village. So fathers are important. Even if you're not the dad, you can still be.
Absolutely. Our vision is fathers
Fathers work.
changing Oh,
Which one you doing, Joe?
our mission is fathers working together to support, educate, and develop healthy, active fathers, and to rebuild family and community values. That is our mission. Our vision on the back of my sweater, actually, right now, is fathers changing the image of manhood and fatherhood in the urban community and beyond. Other organizations that we work with say dads don't babysit, they parent.
Wow.
I thought that was a huge message too. We're there, we're present, we teach, we love, we change diapers.
Yes.
We do.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, I do want to know, who are some influences in your life that have helped you become the father that you is today? Whether it's from the Citizen Father program or the Father Project.
I think when I was young, Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil?
Well, when you're young, because I didn't have that father. I mean, I had my father, but not that emotional piece to becoming a father. I didn't have that, and I think we got a lot from TV than if we didn't have it in our community. Yeah, that would definitely be. But when we got older, in the Father Project, we met several just extraordinary individuals. Some of them aren't even with us today, but they'll forever impact our lives with their mission, their message of, no excuses. What can you do? What can you change?
Okay, beautiful.
Thank
you so much for coming on to SPNN Forum. You guys have shared some amazing messages. You have shared your own stories. You have opened up and been vulnerable here today. And that's beautiful. We talked about mental health. We talked about influences. We talked about role models. We didn't yet talk about your accomplishments. So I know we're wrapping up, but if you could just give me one accomplishment each, what is that?
The skill to be able to give back, do presentations, be a leader in the community, not just a leader, but somebody who gets things done, creates programs for others. That's a huge skill. Just being on this stage is a little off-putting for me, because I'm a little nervous up here, but to be able to talk to other people and be inspirational to them is the best skill I've gotten so far.
Okay, and one accomplishment from you?
I'm going to start mine from the top. One that caught my attention. When they took my driver's license, I didn't know how important that was to me and my children, right? I get my driver's license back. I'm insured.
Yeah.
Me and the kids can go everywhere and anywhere, right? Not even that. I taught all my kids how to drive, and they all are driving now. So that was very beneficial to me, to make sure that I was legal.
Okay.
I will say that, legal on the streets, because you know how that can really take you away from your children's life, being illegal. So
100%.
yeah, that would be mine.
Okay. Well, I have had an amazing time speaking with Joseph Battles
Yes.
and Damien Winfield.
That's right.
It's been an honor.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the Citizen Father.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Father Project. You have just watched the SPNN Forum, and I am your host, Jiccarra N. Hollman. Make sure you come on back. Thank you for watching.